we've been working on a new agreement with Francis for like 2 years now. And we had gotten to a point where, he was going to fight Jon Jones, and many who believe, including me, that he's the best of all time, for the heavyweight championship. And Jon Jones has been willing and ready and able to fight anybody. He didn't care who it was. Could have been anybody in the heavyweight division. He was ready to go. And Francis, we offered Francis a deal that would have made him the highest paid heavyweight in the history of the company. More than Lesnar, more than anybody. And he turned the deal down. So, I don't know. We get to this point where I've told you guys this before. If you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. I think Francis is in a place right now where he doesn't want to take a lot of risk. Feels like he's in a good position where he could fight lesser opponents and make more money. So we're gonna let him do that. We're gonna release him from his contract. We're gonna give up our right to match, and he can go wherever he wants and do whatever he wants. Yeah, that's where we're at.
When was that decision made, Dana? How long have you known that this was going to be the case, that Francis was gone?
Well, we've been negotiating with him for 2 years, and there were a lot of different, even now. I mean, the guy was just weighing over 300 pounds, just had knee surgery, hasn't really had a real training camp. And I think that probably has a lot to do with it as far as Francis is concerned, too. He doesn't know what's going to happen with his knee, how his knee, he's not getting younger. So, I don't even think he would have been ready for March. So, we can't continue to hold up the division and not come to an agreement with this guy. We did everything we could to try to make this fight happen and try to give him the fight, but, he's got it in his head that there's bigger opportunities outside the UFC with, lesser opponents.
Did this just come down to a dollar figure? Or was it like other things, like I want a bigger portion of pay-per-view?
I think that you're going to fight arguably the greatest fighter of all time. You'd be the highest paid heavyweight ever in UFC history. Or you think there's more money out there to fight somebody who isn't the greatest of all time, somebody who is a lesser opponent. You'll have to ask Francis that question, but in my opinion, that's what it is. Which isn't the first time that's happened here. It's not like this is something that's never happened before. There's been other guys that have come to us and said, I don't want to compete at this level anymore.
Did you get the feeling that he was negotiating in good faith, or just really didn't want to be here at all?
I don't know. No, I doubt he'd just hang out for 2 years and continue to negotiate. And I don't know. I don't think he thought the Jon Jones fight would really happen. That's what I think. I think he didn't think that would really come to fruition, but it did. Jon Jones was literally ready to fight anybody. He didn't care who it was. And we could have done a fight with Jon back in, October, November, December. And we kept, we kept trying to get this deal done with Francis. And then finally it just, we got to the realization that it wasn't going to happen.
I'm just curious, what's happening with Stipe Miocic? There was always this talk of him versus Jon, and obviously Jon's fighting Cyril. Where's Stipe? Is he retired?
Yeah, Stipe's still obviously very much in the mix, and but he's going through some stuff right now that he's dealing with. The timing just didn't work for him.
You mentioned Francis wants to go fight lower opponents. Are you expecting him to sign with another MMA organization, or do you think he might try and go box?
Who? Francis? I have no clue. I have no clue. Listen, whatever he decides to do, it's been fun while he's been here. I wish him the best. It's all good.
I know you guys always think you can get these deals across the line, but were you particularly surprised that Francis just didn't seem to want to stick around? Were you surprised as you were negotiating with him, like, man, this guy just doesn't seem to want to be here?
I don't know. It happens. He's the second guy that we couldn't come to a deal with. You know what I mean? Now it's him and Fedor. So, we did everything we could to get him to take the deal. I think Hunter went to 350 dinners with him. Did what we could do, and it just didn't work out.
Everyone always talks about the Fedor offer on this mystery island or whatever. Who would have got the better deal, Francis or Fedor?
Did what?
Who would have got the better deal from you, Fedor or Francis?
That's funny. That's a good question. Yeah, it would probably have to be Francis. I mean, the deal that was being offered to Francis would have made him the highest paid guy in heavyweight history. And when you think about Brock Lesnar, guy did 1 million buys every time he fought. So, big number, big money.
Dana, what was it that Francis wanted above and beyond? I mean, you offered him more than any other fighter would.
Yeah, well, like I said, what I think he wanted is, I think that he's, this guy's worked hard, and he feels like he's in a position right now to fight lesser competition for more money. I think he doesn't want to take the risk. You're going in against John Jones, the best of all time, and at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with that. He can do that. Just not what we do here. It's not what we do here. The best fight the best here. There's plenty of places where you can go do that, and that's where he'll end up. He'll end up somewhere where somebody will, throw some money at him, and he's going to fight fights that he thinks he can win.
Would he have taken that deal if he didn't have to fight John Jones? Was he picking?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Was it a requirement for John Jones to fight for the title for his debut at heavyweight?
No, this is what John wanted. John's been talking about this forever. So this wasn't our thing. This was a John thing.
I mean, but Jones would have came in even at heavyweight.
No, John was willing to fight anybody. He was willing to fight anybody. So you're asking me, would he only fight heavyweight for the title? No. Okay. He was willing to fight anybody. He didn't care. He literally didn't care who it was on the roster, and not for the title. He was willing to fight anybody.
And then it seemed like we thought that John was going to come back in December and fight Ngannou. Did John Jones agree to fight Ngannou at that time when everybody thought that was?
100%. John Jones wanted to fight Ngannou. You guys are going to have plenty of opportunity to talk to John, and John's very confident that he would have ripped through Francis Ngannou. That's how he feels. That was a easy fight for him.
Have you had a peek at how John looks at that weight, at the heavyweight?
No, I haven't seen him. No. Just his face in interviews.
Back here. Before John had took his time off, he was kind of looking for a new contract as well, and he was kind of going back and forth. Did he get a new contract, or is he under the same contract?
Jones signed a new 8-fight deal.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I love the fight. I think it's a great headline for Vegas. But you said, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, with regard to John Jones, that Las Vegas isn't good for him, and because of previous misdemeanors. Do you think it will be good for him on March the 4th?
Oh, yeah. And what do I think about it? I still think the same thing. Yeah, I agree that it's not good.